Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In today's video, we're going to look at our AFL SuperCoach team reveal. So round one kicks off in about 24 hours time at the time of recording. So pretty exciting, a bit of word around some of the rookies that are making a start. That sort of thing coming out, so that always gets you up and about for it. Um, in saying that, let's have a look at the team. So I think I've gone with a fairly sort of template type defence. In that D1, I've gone with Sam Doherty. I had Tom Stewart for most of the pre-season, but I guess just spending a bit of time today in particular, having a look. Yeah, so Tommy Stewart doesn't look like he's playing at Geelong for the first few weeks. And with Sam Doherty, I guess he'll benefit from, is it White, the midfielder? I'll just quickly go to the midfielders. So, Walsh, there you go. And you'd start with a W, Sam Walsh. Uh, Missing in action for a bit, so he'll definitely push up around the midfield a bit more. Um, and at 38% as well, he is, I believe, the most popular premium option. Yep, there you go. Might just leave it in order of ownership because, like I said, it is pretty template from here. So Elliot Yeo's D2. I know a lot of people are carrying a 500 K defender like a Dacos or Jordan Ridley has proven popular. But I guess with some of the other decisions that I've made, I sort of couldn't afford that sort of uh, sub premium defender. Um, and it's I guess a good opportunity to see how they go before I commit to those anyway. After that, I guess it's not going to be in numerical order, but Jinby, Constable, they're both in my team. Wilmot and Cowan are as well, but they'll probably revert to the bench. Um, and then the last two, I've gone with Liam Jones and Connor McKenna. So I guess if we sort of flip it around like this, so again, not 100% convinced on actually which Brisbane line I'll start. Um, so at the moment, I might just stick with where the money is. But yeah, Jimby, he looks, rock solid. Well, guess, sorry, go back to Elliot Yeo. Um, yeah, I mean, he's definitely undervalued given the injury. I remember having him in the midfield a couple of years ago as a pretty premium sort of option, and then he unfortunately got injured. Um, yeah, Jimby, hyped up rookie, big price tag, but he'll do the business. Constable looks like he's locked in at the Suns. Jones, sort of, yeah, I think he'll go all right. I mean, these two are sort of questionable, but and there is probably options to replace them, particularly Chesser, but as you see, he'll pop up elsewhere in the near future. And then yeah, Wilmot and Cowan. So Cowan has been one of the early ones that was named to debut, so that's good. I guess these other guys aren't technically debuting in the AFL, so we probably won't get that inside oil until the teams are named tomorrow night. So in the midfield, this is, I guess, where I've tried to go a bit different to the rest of the pack. So I might start by sorting by price. So I've gone with Laurie Laird at M1, and he's going to be the captain for the majority of the time. Just super consistent. He's the main man at Adelaide. Um, yeah, and I guess if I'm going to pay up for someone like him or Clary, um, yeah, I think I prefer that rock solid base that Laird provides. But yeah, definitely Oliver is on the target list. M2, I'm going to go with a bit of a pot option, Tuke Miller. So I guess being a Suns fan, I really do want to get him in the side. And the fact that he's only at 10% means that yeah, he's a genuine point of difference at the start of the year. I know everyone is worried about his hamstring injury in the preseason, but he's named to play, and I think I'm hoping he'll hit the ground running. So it is a gamble, but obviously because of his price, there is a few sort of cheaper options. Um, that could come in if he re-injures or does something crazy like that. But he's going to be in my side at the end of the year, so I'm happy to have him at the start. So then M3, Bontempelli, the Bont, um, 35% irons. Everyone's talking about he's a good shout for the Brownlow this year. With Dunkley moving, there's obviously a bit more room for upside in the Bulldogs midfield. Um, so obviously, him or McRae are on that same level, but whereas I guess I went the solid base for Laird over Oliver, I've sort of gone for maybe a bit more upside with Bontempelli over McRae. So that was sort of the balancing act there. You go Oliver and McRae, you probably get the same sort of result. I would have thought, but I had the extra little bit of money, so yeah, made the switch to Laird and Bontempelli. And then an M4, I guess a pick that I've always been a fan of. Love to you know, well, I guess I always rate him as a player, but Josh Kelly. Um, so yeah, so I guess without Taranto Hopper in the midfield, Leon Cameron's gone. He won't be. You'd assume Josh Kelly's going to be playing in the midfield a lot. Um, so yeah, so I guess sort of that sub premium price like a Jack Steele option or even a Darcy Parish, perhaps if that's your interest. But yeah, I really like Kelly, and yeah, sort of pretty stoked to have him in the team. So then I guess we'll go back to more ownership percentage for the next few. Although sure enough, he's not up the top. But Tom Green at 34%, there he is. So I guess sort of in line with Kelly, a bit more midfield time available at the Giants. And that sort of price point is quite nice. He had that big start to the year last year too, so if he can replicate that, it could be a quick way to upgrade to another keeper, which is would be very nice. Um, so from there we go Jacob Hopper, so another GWS guy or former GWS guy. Um, Moved to Richmond, is going to get a lot more time in that midfield role. Um, yeah, I think 48% have him, but most of the serious players have got him, so he's in there for me. And then Ashcroft, 78% people got him, obviously for a reason. He's a good player. He'll score well on our field. Mackenzie and then Phillips, so I guess these guys are somewhat interchangeable for that M8, M9 position to start the year. Both rookies, both in sort of teams that are going to give the young kids a chance. So definite money makers at the very least. Um, then on the rest of the bench, scroll down a bit. So I'm going to have Chesser, so he'll provide that bit of swing between midfield and defence. Uh, and I've also gone with Oscar Baker if I can find him. No, actually, he's not. He's a lot better than that. There he is. I went past him. So I guess I don't have the mid forward swing at the moment, um, which isn't ideal. But I guess there probably wasn't as many forward options that I was keen on. So I guess having a couple of extra cheapies in defence helped with that decision as well. So then onto the rucks, and I guess the first one doesn't really need much explanation. Ryan Marshall, should have the majority of the ruck time and can also use the ball around the ground. After that, then I guess I've gone a bit different. I've had Jared Witt's there for the longest time. Thought about Sean Darcy, but I'm going to go with Darcy Cameron. And the reason for that is I also want to pair Radicalia at R3. So um, I know, Darcy Cameron's probably not an elite ruck, um, but, tossing up between these other guys, obviously Witts has the advantage of the better buy. Sean Darcy probably has more upside in terms of his ability to rack up big scores. Um, then you've got the unknown with Gawn and Grundy and how they're going to go. I guess sort of what my gut feel is on that situation is Gawn will probably become a mid forward option. Um, so then obviously him and Cameron can swing. I think, or even Cameron can make a bit of money, um, and not maybe even 150k, but enough to perhaps make that work um, as the swing option. Uh, and then also, can further assess not just the ruck situation, but the forward situation, and get a feel of who's going to fill out those last few spots. Um, yeah, so, and I guess Radicalia, um, I know a lot of people wouldn't use a loophole in this situation, but personally, I'm looking to make as much money as we can from day one. Um, so it might cost me a few points on the field, but the upside is having the extra cash to make the trades to get to full premium as soon as we can. So it looks like he's got an okay role there, playing sort of half backish at the Cats. So hopefully that all goes well. Otherwise, we might have to trade down to a loophole. And so then in the forwards, the first few are pretty obvious, I think. Dunkley, Taranto, Rosie. They'll probably appear the other way around, I suppose. It's not going to work. That's okay. Um, yeah, Dunkley is a freak. Yeah, easily going to be F1, so lock him in. Taranto and Rosie, both sort of slightly underpriced, given what they're potentially going to do this year. So then F4, I'm going with Errol Goulden, right, as I guess the cut price sort of keeper option there. So I think he'll be a bit up and down, which is what you expect in the forwards anyway. But just that sweet upside that we saw in the Pracky match means that I had to get him in. From here, there's not much money left, so it's fairly cheap. We're going with Sheasel, McLean, Green, and Davey. So Sheasel named to debut for North Melbourne, playing half back. So sort of like Radicalia on the same page as that. Um, and so because of that, a bit cheaper as well, so I could afford to upgrade the midfield a bit. Obviously sacrificing the likes of Tanner Brew and Sam Flanders, um, those options. Toby McLean was probably the last player to fit into the squad the way I've got it now. It was a toss-up between him and Philippou. Um, actually, I think I did end up wanting to go Philippou. Let's just do it. So this was the toss-up between these two. Um, and I think at the other day I went with Philippou just because I think his role in the side seems a little bit more set. Um, I'm not really sure what McLean's doing. Um, I guess he does have history on his side. When you look at their profile, so McLean, break even of 32. So assuming he makes more than that, he makes money. But that would obviously mean Philippous is less at about 30. So I thought that's probably not the biggest gamble to take if he can get himself involved. Like a place in the side, it could be a good shout. Um, ideally, they're probably a bit more money would have been nice to have, like a Flanders or someone that definitely has that extra scoring capacity, but can't have them all at the start of the season. And so then Green and Davey on the bench, so both, I guess, cheap, look like they're going to be playing, and can perhaps potentially spike a score and push up in price, perhaps. So I guess that's the team. So in terms of the structure of it all, we've got um, Doherty, so one, the four sort of big mids, and Green's a bit iffy. So, but I guess definitely four people I'm keen on keeping. Marshall probably would be happy to keep, and then the four forwards. So that gives us 10 sort of keepers for the team. And then I guess 36 trades. So if we cut that up into 12 upgrades and 12 downgrades to get to the other 12 premiums, and 12 for injuries and suspensions and all that other good stuff that comes up. Um, I think we're pretty well right to get a full premium team. Obviously, that doesn't leave any trades left. Um, so, any trades left are the leftover injury sort of ones is the theory there. But, I'm saying that, like Tom Green's most of the way there. So, um, guys like Yo and Hopper, you're hoping they push up close to the price, so it's a side swap for a full premium. Um, you know, Wishful thinking with Pavs Cameron, but no, I think he'll be more of an up and down sort of trade to get that second ruck in. And yeah, so pretty happy with the way the team's set up. I guess people might say, well, take Miller out for second premium ruck. Leftover money could boost your F6, but um, obviously a big Tuke Miller fan. I'd probably rather have him uh, playing and watching how he goes than perhaps some of the others. So yeah, so I guess that's part of what it's about too. I'm definitely not an expert at AFL. I don't watch it that closely, but I do want to follow the players I like, and hopefully they get the super coach points. But yeah, in terms of the setup, VCC, I'm actually going to go with Doherty in the first game as a VC. For I guess the reasons I talked about bringing him in is he's going to play in the midfield. I guess big game to start the season against Richmond. Yeah, so he could potentially do a bit, and then I don't really have a loophole though, which is a bit of an issue. So haven't really thought that bit through. Like I said, I do prefer to the points over all else, but I mean Laird's going to be solid anyway, so might just be more of a what's the word, artificial VC or ceremonial VC, unless someone like maybe a McKenna or Wilmot don't start for the Lions. Like I'll probably keep them both regardless. Because yeah, I mean bringing Chesser up and tweaking that a bit, oh, don't know, I might be able to do something there. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I don't really have any particular one I'd like to hang on to as a loophole for round one. So yeah, I think we'll just live with that decision. But yeah, leave the C on that. All right, but I guess that's the team and how we're looking. So obviously, feel free to comment. I know everyone's got an opinion at this time of year, so definitely let me have it. Um, Otherwise, feel free to like the video if you're liking the content. I know it's mostly NRL on this channel, but subscribe if you're into all things SuperCoach and fantasy sports. Um, and on that, I'll catch you in the next one.